afternoon, class of 2020. I am so excited to introduce your keynote speaker today. He is among the most compelling voices leading the crucial conversations that are rippling across our nation. He is a passionate advocate for justice and an extremely visible fundraiser for victims of police brutality and discrimination. He has spoken in 35 states, at over 100 colleges and universities, in jails and prisons across this nation, and in corporate boardrooms. He has written an astounding 1,500 articles since 2014 about the injustices in our country. As a magnetic element of the Black Lives Matter movement, he has leveraged social media as a means to rally and unite people. He is currently one of the most followed activists in our world. He uses his platform as a journalist to unearth the truth beyond the local media and to organize his followers and all of those fighting against injustice in purposeful and directed ways. Before he was ever known nationally, Shaun was an accomplished high school history and civics teacher in Atlanta, Georgia. We reached out to Shaun about the work our senior class was doing to unearth the realities of mass incarceration, and Shaun was eager to speak to you at graduation, as well as to get to know you through the truths that you expressed in your 6-word memoirs. Indeed, this generation has its own challenges for which need real solutions. Instead of assuming that progress will march along without our help, Shaun implores us to see the vital role each of us play in the movement towards a more equitable world. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to introduce your keynote speaker, Shaun King.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing really well. My name is Shaun King and I am so glad to be here. I'm so proud of the class of 2020. And first and foremost, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you just how incredibly proud I am of you, not only for completing high school and earning your diploma, but for persevering so many obstacles this year. I think 2020 has been one of the most difficult years in modern American history, but you're here. You made it, and that says so much about you and so much about the people who've surrounded you with love and support all these years. Your teachers and staff and counselors, they've told me so many great things about each of you, and I just want you to know that I can't wait for you to get out into the world to make a real difference. I'm counting on you to do that. I also want to take a quick moment to thank each of you who spoke out over these past few weeks about the horrible murder of a man named Ahmaud Arbery. I hope you saw this past month that when we organize and focus our efforts, we can make real change. We're still fighting for Ahmaud, and now we're fighting for a young woman named Breonna Taylor, and I'm grateful for your support in that case as well. I wanted to take a moment just to introduce myself because maybe you know me, maybe you don't, but I have a larger point that I want to make. I'm a journalist, I'm an author, I'm an organizer, I'm a husband to my high school sweetheart, I'm a father of 5 children from elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a constant presence on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok. I'm too old for TikTok. I'm a son. I'm a brother and an uncle. I'm a friend. During this pandemic, I've been a pastor and a guide. I'm an advisor. I'm a podcast host. I'm an activist. I'm a political strategist. I'm a boss and a supervisor. I'm a neighbor. I don't talk about it often, but for years, I was a counselor in juvenile detention centers all over Georgia and then at a mental health hospital for children. But I'm actually a historian by training. My undergraduate and graduate degrees are in history. I said that to say that I'm a lot of things. I'm not bound by any one title or role. And you are a lot of things. You are going to become a lot of things. You also are not bound by anybody's expectation or by the box that anybody tries to put you in. And I wanted to start there because I know that each of you have a very particular dream and goal that you want to pursue. But I want to talk to you for a few minutes about what that's actually going to look like. You have a dream, you have a vision, you have hopes. And I know that this pandemic, this moment of time that we're in, It causes all of us to wonder if our dreams are just going to be stuck there and stay dreams or hopes forever. Your future plans have already been forced to change. In my own house, my plans have been forced to change. My wife's plans, my children's plans. I have a son. We live in New York, and I have a son who is supposed to start a new high school, and we're not even sure if it's going to open. I have a daughter your age who's supposed to start college in the fall, also in New York, and we don't even know if it's going to be open. All of our plans are up in the air. Of course, none of us ever imagined that we'd be right here in this moment right now. But what I need you to understand is that no matter how bad, no matter how strange or difficult this moment is, it won't last forever. When I was a 15-year-old boy, just a little younger than you, I was growing up in rural Kentucky, and I was assaulted so badly by a group of racist students at my high school that I had fractures in my face and ribs, and my back, my spine was so badly injured that I had to have 3 spinal surgeries. I was broken physically and emotionally. I went to see a therapist who diagnosed me with PTSD, and I missed nearly 2 years of high school recovering from injuries and surgeries. At that point, it was the lowest, most brutal moment of my life. And of course, none of that was a part of the plan I had for my future. And for a moment, I was so confused about how I was going to be able to bounce back. Those injuries changed my life. And I'm not glad that what happened to me happened. It was awful. But had none of that ever happened to me, I don't even know if you'd know me right now. What was meant to destroy me actually burned into my heart a passion for justice. What was meant to ruin me caused me to care deeply about people who had been injured physically or emotionally. In those low moments where I had to go through months of physical therapy and counseling just to get back on my feet again, they ultimately shaped my character and made me into the man I am today. But we are so much more than the sum total of the bad things that have happened to us. Many of you, I already know, have endured unspeakable hardships. This pandemic is a hardship. It's changed your graduation. Of course, for many of you, it's actually impacted your family. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Maybe you've lost a job, or your loved ones have lost jobs. And it's hard right now. I get it. I understand. But what I want you to know right now is that this moment is a phase. It won't last. But how you respond to it is going to impact the rest of your life. Don't lose hope. Don't let go of your dreams, because the best of your life is ahead of you. And here's what I know. This world needs you now more than ever. To get this far, you've pushed past so many obstacles and challenges. You are resilient. You are survivors. You are overcomers. But if you don't mind, as I close, I have just a few quick pieces of advice for you on how I hope you'll respond to this moment that we're in. First, be generous and kind. I tell myself that every day. Be generous and kind. Be generous and kind. As hard as this moment is, as hard as the world is going to be over this next year and the year after that, try your best to be your best every single day. Be slow to anger. Be quick to forgive, and be determined to be a force for good in the world. For me, that means that I've volunteered to help families all over the world by speaking at their funerals. I spoke at a funeral yesterday. I speak at another funeral tomorrow. It means that I volunteered to speak at graduations all over the country. I have another graduation that I'm doing right after yours. But what does it mean for you to be a force for good? What it means for me is going to be very different than what it means for you. It doesn't have to be big, but I want you to grapple with the question, how can I make the world a better place today? How can I make my home a better place today? How can I make my community a better place today? Who can I help? How can I tilt my skills, my knowledge, my life, my energy? How can I tilt them toward good every day? The next thing is this. Some people say that God laughs at our plans. And I understand when they say that, because life can be so hard and it can interrupt all of our plans. But the second piece of advice I have for you is this: be strategic. Listen, all of our plans aren't going to work. But let me tell you what I know will fail each and every time. Not having a plan or not having a strategy at all. It's a bad idea. Wherever you want to go, whatever it is that you want to do, it's going to require step by step by step. It's going to require directions. It's going to require strategy. It's going to require some real organizing of your life. It's going to require you to say no to so many risks and temptations. It's going to require you to be focused and intentional. Now, I have so much more that I could say, but the last thing that I want to say to you is this. Please dream bigger than the real limitations of this moment. Dream bigger than the limitations of your bank account. Dream bigger than the limitations of your financial aid packages. Dream bigger than the stereotypes that people may have on your race or ethnicity or nationality or gender or orientation or ability. Dream bigger than the limitations people have and have put on your zip code. Dream bigger than the pain of your past. Dream bigger than the devastation of this pandemic. Just dream bigger. Because the world has a way of trying to squash your dreams down and convince you that it's not even worth having an imagination. But I implore you, students, I beg you, never stop dreaming. But in this moment, I need you, the world needs you to believe in yourself. It's not enough for me to believe in you. It's not enough even for your family and friends and for your principal and staff and others. It's not enough for all of us to believe in you. Right now, we need you to believe in yourself and pursue your very best life. Congratulations, class of 2020. I believe in you, but it's time for you to believe fully and completely in yourself. Congratulations on your graduation. The world is counting on you to be a force for good, and we're all so proud of you. Take care, you all.